It's a story that feels like it's straight out of a movie. Imagine a successful black millionaire minding his own business when two police officers suddenly pull him over and accuse him of something he didn't do, stealing his own car. The officers are convinced he's guilty, despite his calm and respectful demeanor. With every word they speak, the tension rises. What's worse, they're treating him like a criminal just because of the color of his skin. But then, something happens that no one saw coming. The millionaire's response to the situation completely shifts the power dynamics. In a moment that leaves everyone stunned, he reveals something that changes everything, something that will make the officers rethink their entire approach. But will this revelation be enough to end the racial profiling and bias they've shown? Or will it just be another story of injustice, where power and privilege win? Stay tuned to see how this shocking turn of events unfolds. As the millionaire stands there, calm and collected, the officers grow more frustrated. They refuse to listen, their questions becoming more aggressive. It's clear they've already made up their minds. The streets are quiet around them, but the tension crackles in the air, thick and oppressive. The onlookers watch in silence, unsure whether to step in or turn away. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, there's a larger system at play, one built on biases that reach far beyond this single encounter. This millionaire is more than just a success story. He's someone who built his fortune from nothing, working tirelessly to rise above the assumptions made about him. Yet here he stands, reduced to being questioned about his worth simply because of his appearance. It's a reflection of a deeper issue, one that lingers in many communities where people of color are constantly judged before being seen for who they truly are. As the officers continue their line of questioning, something shifts in his expression, a flicker of resolve, but also a calm that hints at something they don't know. There's a reason he remains composed. A story behind him, perhaps, one that the officers aren't prepared to hear. And as the scene continues to unfold, the world begins to wonder what else they might have overlooked. What hidden truth lies beneath this encounter that could forever change how it ends? The officers circle around him, their voices rising with each unanswered question. They ask about his car, why it's parked in a seemingly random spot, why it doesn't match his profile. It's as if they're searching for a reason to accuse him, pulling at straws to justify their actions. One of them steps closer, eyeing the luxury vehicle suspiciously, as if that alone is enough to prove their point. The millionaire's patience begins to waver, but he doesn't react. Instead, he stands tall, maintaining an air of dignity that only seems to make the officers more agitated. Unbeknownst to them, this isn't just any car. It's his pride and joy, a symbol of everything he's worked for. But to the officers, it's an anomaly. In their minds, someone like him shouldn't own something like this. It's a subtle but potent form of discrimination, fueled by assumptions about wealth, race, and who deserves what. Meanwhile, a woman standing on the edge of the crowd watches closely, her face a mixture of curiosity and concern. She's seen things like this before, heard the stories, but this time it feels different. She's been on the receiving end of racial profiling in her own life, but never in such a public way. She feels the weight of the situation pressing in, knowing it could escalate at any moment. As her heart races, she wonders what would happen if she spoke up. Would it make things worse, or could she be the voice of reason that shifts everything? Across the street, a man in a suit sits in his car, watching the scene unfold with quiet interest. He knows more than he's letting on, and he's seen how power works in moments like this. He's been part of a system that has turned a blind eye to people like the millionaire, and now he sees an opportunity, a chance to change the narrative. But what's his role in this? And will he step forward when the time comes, or stay in the shadows, watching as the story unfolds without him? Each person involved is part of a larger story, a web of connections and conflicts that stretches far beyond this single encounter. The tension is mounting, and it's clear that something big is about to unfold. Whether it'll be a turning point or another painful reminder of the injustices people face remains uncertain. As the officers continue their interrogation, the millionaire's eyes scan the crowd, his mind working, calculating the next move. His story is far from over. The officers exchange glances, their frustration mounting. One of them reaches for his radio, as if calling for backup will somehow validate their suspicions. The tension in the air becomes palpable. The crowd is starting to grow, whispers spreading like wildfire. A few people step closer, curious but unsure whether they should intervene. The woman who had been watching now moves forward, her instincts telling her this situation is about to spiral out of control. Her breath catches in her throat as the millionaire stands stoically, his gaze never leaving the officers, as if daring them to escalate things further. The officers, however, seem determined to press on. One of them, visibly irritated, takes a step forward and demands to see the millionaire's ID. His tone is sharp, and his words carry an edge that suggests he's already decided the man is guilty of something. The millionaire remains silent for a moment, his hand slowly reaching into his jacket pocket. The air around them thickens, everyone holding their breath, waiting for the inevitable spark. Behind the scenes, the man in the suit sitting across the street is watching more intently now. He knows what's coming, and he understands the delicate balance of power in moments like these. His phone buzzes in his pocket, but he doesn't check it. He can't afford to be distracted. The system he's part of could crumble if the millionaire's identity is revealed too soon. There are too many hidden layers to this situation, layers that no one on the street knows about. The millionaire's fingers hover over his wallet. The crowd watches, a sense of unease settling in. No one knows what's going to happen next, but everyone can feel it. Something is about to change. Will the officers back down when they discover who he really is? Will the woman speak up and risk drawing more attention to herself? Or will the man in the suit intervene, bringing a hidden truth to the surface? The suspense is unbearable, and the stakes are rising with every passing second. As the millionaire reaches into his jacket pocket, the officers tense up, their hands subtly moving toward their holsters. The crowd can feel a shift. Something is about to happen, but no one knows exactly what. The woman watching from the sidelines steps even closer, her heart racing. She can't just stand by and watch this anymore. Something feels off, and she knows it. Her instincts tell her that this isn't just a routine stop. There's more to this than anyone realizes. Suddenly, the millionaire pulls out a sleek business card and holds it out. The officers freeze. It's a rare moment of silence, hanging in the air like a time bomb. They glance at each other, unsure of how to proceed. The woman's eyes widen, her mouth going dry as she watches the scene unfold. There's something about the card, something that makes the situation take a sharp turn. The officers take a closer look, and their expressions immediately shift from suspicion to uncertainty. It's not just any card. It's a card that has the power to end this whole ordeal in an instant. The man's status, his influence is undeniable. The business card reads CEO, Global Enterprises, a name that commands respect and authority in the highest circles. The woman, realizing the weight of the moment, steps back. This was no random encounter. The millionaire is someone they've never imagined, someone far above their pay grade. But before the officers can react, there's another shock. The voice of the man in the suit, who has been silently watching from across the street, now cuts through the tension. He steps forward, the crowd parting for him as he approaches the officers with a confident stride. His phone had buzzed earlier, but now he's fully engaged, his role in this moment becoming clearer. His eyes lock on the millionaire, and for the first time, the officers begin to grasp that they've been out of their depth from the start. The woman's breath catches in her throat as the man in the suit speaks, his words cutting through the air with authority. "You don't know who you're dealing with," he says, and his voice echoes with a weight that causes the officers to hesitate. The stakes have just been raised higher than anyone could have anticipated. What happens next could shatter everything they thought they knew about this situation, and about the powerful forces lurking in the shadows. The crowd is silent now, all eyes fixed on the man in the suit as he steps up to the officers. The tension in the air is so thick it feels like it might explode at any second. The officers look from the millionaire to the man in the suit, their faces a mixture of confusion and realization. The business card, still held in the millionaire's hand, now seems to glow with importance. The woman watching can hardly breathe, knowing that the outcome of this moment will change everything.